Girls, 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 girls.
Here they are, everyone, in the studio. Sue Hall and Michelle, Bevan, Margett. Are we well, ladies?
Very well, thank you.
Resplendent, if I may use that word, in purple, both of you.
Thank you, yes. We are.
Did you get in okay? I mean,
Yes.
in terms of the traffic, and it's a bit of a gridlock.
Yes,
it has
I've
kind of
seen the
closed
warning
down.
signs all week, so I thought, no, we'll go the back route. We set off a little bit earlier just to make sure we got it. Because we know how you
I drove
panic.
for the first time today.
Well, the first time ever.
Well, for a long time. First time I've driven Sue here, yes. Actually, and she was really impressed.
Is that why the roads are still closed?
Well, I was going to say, and luckily Sue's organised, so she made sure we got here because I wouldn't have even
I must admit,
noticed.
to my absolute shame, I had no idea about it, so I got completely and utterly stuck in it.
like.
Naughty, naughty me. So we're well, ladies. Everything's going hunky-dory. You should say Sue Hall from Wire, Women in Rural Enterprise, and also Made Clean, all going hunky-dory, tickety-boo.
All going very well, yes. Suffolk's still a bit dirty, apparently, because we're still getting the inquiries and constantly looking for new cleaners as a result.
Are you?
Oh, yes, we're as busy as ever. Yeah, it's...
Why is that? Because the sort of economic downtime, people are downturned, people going
I
back
just
to
don't
work.
think it's perceived as a luxury anymore to have a cleaner. I think a lot of
Isn't
people
it?
see it as a necessity. Either if elderly clients can't do what they used to do, they can't bend down, their eyesight fails, they don't see what's dirty anymore, and I get instructed by their sons or daughters who go around and say, I only get to see mum once a fortnight and I spend all my time doing the housework,
Yeah.
So it's not just busy people that need us, it's some people are unable to do it.
But if your eyes fail, you can't see the dust, you're all right then, aren't you?
Yes, you're all right, but it's your visitors.
I used to be, one of my jobs was a cleaner in a blind home. Yeah.
I think one of the best
Did you get
tricks...
10 out of 10 from everybody saying it was a fantastic job?
They did always say it's very, very tidy, dear.
I always think one of the best tricks I was ever told about was to have lots of get well cards on your mantelpiece so that if people did come round, you could say, I haven't been very well and please excuse that.
Do you know what I was told? Go and spray some furniture polish about the
Well,
place.
that's a little bit what I used to do at the blind home, just kind of go in and sort of spray it around.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, in case anyone is listening to this, that we used to stay there. All right, ladies, let's crack on. It's official. Singing is good for you. The scientists have done all the research. I think we've always known that singing is good for you. So the question we're asking on the programme today is, when do you sing and what benefits does it give to you and to others, would you say? Are you a bit of a singer?
I know I'm going to surprise you because I always do every time, but you won't believe this. When I was 13, I was a member of the Trianon Music Group with Christopher Green. They must have been so desperate, that's all I can say, because, I mean, you say, does anybody get any benefit from you singing? No, I promise you that they don't.
Oh, so you did have a good... How come you ended up in a choir then?
Well, I don't know. I think my dad helped me get in there. It must have been because I'm not a very good singer, but I did a Beatles medley and stuff like this in the Corn Exchange with a little gown on and everything else. But I don't consider myself as a good singer at all, but I have been known to sing in the bath.
I think it's in your genes because your father is Welsh.
Yes,
and
he
I
likes
think
singing,
all
yeah.
Welsh people
Yeah.
sing naturally, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I play piano. A lot of our family play piano as well. We're quite musical, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm a good singer.
But does it bring you a lot of joy? It might not bring others a lot of joy,
No,
Michelle, which I'm
definitely
sure
doesn't.
it does.
The cats love it. They just say, oh, I love that.
So,
Do it again.
do you sing at home when you're sort of feeding the cats, or
In the
when
car.
you're in the car?
I'm in the car mainly, and sometimes when I'm feeding the cats, of course I do. But I'm a bit of a private person. I wouldn't do it we had this joke when me and Sue go anywhere. There's no way you'd ever see me on a karaoke. Never.
No, that does surprise me. A couple of drambues, you would be straight up then, no?
Honestly, even if I had 6 bottles of Drambuie, I would never sing in public. Honestly.
What about you, Sue?
My singing to anyone other than myself probably started back in the 80s because I used to work as a tour guide, as
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
And sometimes I'd take my groups out in the evenings and they'd have a few glasses of wine, or copious amounts of it in some cases. And so we'd do these little night tours afterwards and... sometimes you had a little bit of sing-song on the way home.
That'd be fabulous.
Yeah, and it depended on the kind of group that you had. They wanted more the next day. So can we have a sing-song, Sue? So I'd have to get me Bye Bye Blackbird out again, and I'd be getting them all going. But you know, the karaoke in the 80s, it was very new and it was very kind of, yes, and I loved it. I thought the key to it is picking a song that everybody knows, because then they sing along with you. So don't just pick a song you actually like, because probably they only know the chorus.
Because I mean, I think I really miss it from school when you used to have the assembly and you all used to sing a little hymn. And I think it would be great if wherever you worked, you know, you had a sort of company song and everyone, not necessarily company song.
We
you
had
could
a
even
school song.
Stand up and sing a song by Adele. I just think it's lovely to everyone sing together.
We had a school song, did you?
No, not at Deben High School. We didn't. If we did, it'd probably be a bit.
Yes, with Dear Alice Owen's Grammar School for Girls, we had one.
Can you still remember it?
Oh yes, but don't make me sing it. But no, it was because we were owned by the Worshipful Company of Brewers, and it was
You went to a school run by brewers.
We got beer. We got beer money. We got beer money every. We did at every assembly. And on Michaelmas Day, which was our Founders' Day, we all had to wear Michaelmas daisies in our blazers and walk up to the church and go through a service. Oh yes, proper school I went to.
Getting beer money is pretty good. I think it's a good thing though. It just makes you feel good to sing as part of a choir, and it brings you all to. And I thoroughly like it.
I got friends who belong to various of the singing groups and choirs that are around, and they absolutely love it. And I did go along, you know, Pavlenka that comes on here one time. We went along with to a choir. We were both going to join, and we were really keen, and we loved it. Apparently, I'm a bottom, which they're very short of, because they do top, middle, and bottom when they categorise you for choirs. And I think Pav was a middle or something. And but then she got ill, and it was something we wanted to do together.
Because I think people are quite precious about the way they sound when they sing, don't they? So I can't sing, like, you know, they don't like to, they're a bit embarrassed by it. But I just think belt it out.
I don't think it matters, really.
I think it's also, if you watch yourself back on radio or TV, you sound different to what you think you sound. Do you know, I know this is, last night, honest to God, I woke up this morning. You know when you wake up and you think, this is happening? For some reason, I was going on X Factor this morning because I was up so early for work. And 6 o'clock, do you know, I was thinking, I've got to put fake tan on, I've got to do this, and I can't sing. Isn't it really weird to talking about
What, you dreamt it or you actually did it?
I actually dreamt it, but I woke up thinking it was true. Have you ever done that? And I thought, I've got to go and do X Factor in a minute. I've got to put my fake tan on. I've got to learn how to sing. Honestly, I was panicking when I woke up this morning.
You definitely need more sleep.
I think so. But it's just funny you have this one, speaking about it today. Yeah. But have you ever woken up and thought, it's really happening?
Well, I have. Not necessarily the X Factor.
I don't know. I think it's because, obviously, it's a fear of mine.
It must be.
Here come the girls, 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 girls. Girls, girls, girls.
Indeed, here they are in the studio. Sue Hall and Michelle Bevan's Margett. We haven't given you a little thing about what you do. You're working last night. Are you being a nurse at the moment?
I'm still being a nurse now at the moment, enjoying life and magistrating. And
still magistrating?
Yeah, still doing loads of stuff, trying to keep myself occupied. Enjoying life.
Keeping the inner chimp at bay?
Yes, because you know what he's like.
How is the inner chimp today?
He's okay. He's been a bit of a rebel, though. So I'm looking to you to keep him under control.
How did he feel about the X Factor audition?
Well, he panicked the same as me because he didn't like to be on the show either, actually. So
he wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready. All right, ladies, next up for a debate. I have been thoroughly enjoying, and apologise for this, it doesn't portray me in the best light, celebs go dating. So the question we're asking on the programme today, what for you would be the best ever first date? What has been the best ever first date? Have you had any memorable ones or bad ones? Or where is a good place for a first date? Sewell, what would you say?
Well, I did have one extremely memorable first date because he took me up in an aeroplane. Oh, I know. I was, for my sins, doing internet dating a long time before it became fashionable. So this was like 20 odd years ago. But we'd been chatting online and various things, and eventually we arranged to meet and went to this airfield, and it was just a passion of his. That's what he did on a regular basis. And I thought, I didn't realise I even wanted to do it until I got there, and then I got really excited, and it was amazing. Just up in this little plane and flying around, and it was a beautiful day. And you know, I never saw him again after that. But I mean, you know, we got on really well.
Pretty good pretty good. Yeah, so did that not sort of up the ante, high pressure then to be nice to him and get on and sort of, or did you just
we continued to chat online afterwards. I mean, nothing bad happened or anything. It's just there wasn't a physical attraction chemistry there or anything, but it was, I thought, as first dates
Pretty
go,
impressive.
that's pretty memorable.
So he must have planned all that then. And
Well,
not...
no, it was just he was going anyway, so it was literally kind of come with me.
Apparently, the most common place for a first date now is that well-known chicken takeaway, not takeaways, not, what do you call it?
Fast food.
Well, fast food, do you think? I think it's Portuguese or something like that. All the young uns love it. That's the place, the most popular place for a date.
Nando's.
Well, that is the one. I was trying not to say it, but there you go.
I've said it.
What for you would be a good first date, Michelle?
Well, I think you're so brave. I've never ever done internet dating. I wanted to because, but I'm too afraid that I seem to attract certain types of people, even when I don't even speak to them. Over the internet, they get my vibes and think, oh, she looks like she is a social worker, so come here. I think I've never had that, so I've always gone out of people I've known.
Oh, okay.
So I've had relationships with people I've known for a little while, and then it went further. I've never really actually met somebody off, anywhere and thought, I think I'll go for a date.
You see, I think dates are quite a new thing and they're quite an American thing because I was saying to earlier, I mean, in my day, you just used to cop off and then someone would say, do you fancy seeing? It wasn't kind of a formal sort of, do you want to go on a date? Do you want to then become my girlfriend? Do you want to become do you know what I mean? It seems very kind of...
No, I can remember when I first started dating, I was 14, right? And it was literally, because it was at the youth club and it was like, do you want to go out next Friday? It was that sort of thing. And that's casually how it happened. Or do you want to come to the disco with me next week?
I think now it's more formally, do you want to go on a date? Do you want to be my girl? I could be wrong. We could be wrong.
We used to always go out in a group.
Yes.
And if you did go out with one guy or somebody, one person, they used to take the mickey out of you and say, oh, I see,
I suppose in our day as well, cinema was quite a big one.
Yes, and interesting, isn't it? Because you can't really talk when you're at the cinema.
It is an unusual first date. I suppose there's not too much pressure there, all the rest of it. Other ones, coffee now is apparently it's very big, just going out for a quick coffee.
Is that a date?
I
You
don't
just
know.
say coffee date, don't you? Because that could be like a professional thing as well as a pleasure.
They're networking, really, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I'm meeting a couple of people for coffee this week. They're not dates.
No.
Well, I suppose you've got to set your intentions up beforehand. Here we go. This is the list I'm looking for here. Nando's, number 1. Number 2, Costa. Obviously, Starbucks. Hyde Park is a big one. Cineworld. And they're basically, they're all coffee places. I think if someone said to me, do you want to go on, surely you'd need a little bit of the lubricant
Are
of
there any
alcohol.
restaurants on there apart from fast food ones?
No, apparently people do not now go to sort of romantic restaurants for dates because there's too much pressure.
I think that actually that's what last time I read an article about internet dating, it was all this, if you are going to meet someone, then, just somewhere that you can just have a coffee or somewhere.
Escape.
Yeah, that it's easy
If you
to
need
escape
to.
from, basically, and that you can just walk in, clock them, and then walk straight out again and nobody knows.
Wear a wig so you can make a
Which
choice.
is terribly superficial and
if
judgmental,
if
but there
anyone
you
set
go.
up a date recently with Sue Hall, be prepared for that. She's going to clock you, walk out action longer. But I had a very nice first date once at Framlingham Castle, I've got to say.
Oh, lovely.
That was very romantic. Yeah, it was. Here they are, everyone, in the studio. Michelle, Bevan, Margett's talking about her bargains from the charity shops.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, everybody who knows me here, I get some great bargains.
I love a charity shop.
Oh, so do I. Honestly, if I was minded, I would go and buy them and sell them on eBay, but I'm not at all because I love bags. As
I
you know.
thought they now have eagle-eyed people that go through to see if there's a
do, but they
bargain,
don't
and then
get everything.
They
don't
don't
get everything.
always. I mean,
No.
I was surprised. I mean, Juicy Couture is
Yeah.
quite. I would have thought quite a well-known thing, but
I've never heard of it.
you see, and then you must have been in charge of that shop on the day.
I probably wasn't. All right, and also Sue Hall is with us. Moving on, ladies. The question we're asking now is: would you ever relocate abroad? 320,000 people left the UK to live abroad, according to the official Office of National Statistics. Spain, US, France, and Australia among the top expat spots. So, what for you, Sue, would be the pros and cons? I bunged this one in because I thought you were thinking about it.
Well, I think we all think about it. I mean, I wanted to emigrate to Australia 30 years ago, and went through all the motions to do it. But I think it was just about timing, really. When my application went in, everyone else was doing it because I think it was the bicentenary year or something. But I was left, I made 2 applications and I was basically left with, well, yes, only if you get married, basically, will you be able to come in. And I kind of got very miffed about that because I wanted to get in on my own merit, you know.
Did they still have the point system in those days?
They did still have the point system, but I was really, although I had points, I didn't come up in any of the categories where they were desperate for people.
Coach tour people, not up there, obviously.
No, they were.
Those points made no prizes
Those
whatsoever.
points did not become You could have done some brilliant coach tours around Australia.
Well, I could,
there's
especially as I knew people over there in the industry, and I was very flexible. But, you know, it's about timing. As much as you want something, it has to be right on very many levels.
Including the immigration level.
My girlfriend that lives in Spain, I mean, she moved out there about 20 months ago now, and I have been out a lot, and I have kind of dreamed and speculated, well, she did it. It must be really easy. But, you know, reality is very different. I have 3 dogs. I have a business here. I have a lot going on, you know. So
would you seriously consider, we all idly, when you're on holiday and you wake up and it's beautiful and you think, why am I living in, though we love Suffolk, but would you actually ever consider doing it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the older I get, I think that as you get closer to the end of your life than the beginning, I think you start to panic a bit because you're running out of time to do all the stuff you want to do.
And that's up there, is it?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, and if I could be convinced that, you know, everything else would work. I mean, I've moved 29 times in my life. Moving doesn't bother me, all right, and starting again doesn't bother me in a lot of cases. I know that I can do that, so none of that would concern me, but I have been here in Suffolk for nearly 12 years now, so that would be that's almost the longest I've lived anywhere.
You, Michelle, you were thinking about it, weren't you?
Well, my best friend, as you know, lives in the Bahamas, and she's been there 12 years, and I have thought about it, but in reality, when you get down and you think, I need to run away. Well, I do anyway. I just think I want to run away. I'm not coming back, and I'll never see you again. But I would miss my parents very much, so I wouldn't do it. In reality, I like my clothes, I like my shoes, I like my handbags, and you can't have that in a hot country, they melt. So,
your makeup melts.
My makeup will melt.
Your shoes don't melt. What's the matter with you?
Mine do, sometimes, because most of them are just standing only shoes, as you know, they're not for walking in.
I don't think your handbags are going to melt.
Well, it would be so they might do.
Here come the girls.
Georgina with you for the next 8 or so minutes, or until it's time to hand over to the country boys of the country tunes. In the studio, we've got Sue Hall and Michelle Bevan's Margett, who can't move abroad in case her handbags melt. Is that the only reason, Michelle?
Well, it's just that I like to look nice, and I like to feel that I look nice, and I just can't walk about in a bikini all day.
Okay.
And I do have a lot of shoes and handbags, and they may melt because it is hot in the Bahamas. It's really hot, you know. So.
They could melt.
They could.
We haven't got any PowerPoint presentation to back that up, but indeed they could melt. Or if you live in the Bahamas and you have suffered from melting handbags, do let us know. All right, ladies, very briefly, thank you for that. We are talking about now, I was at the dentist the other day and booking up an appointment, and they said, we were completely free on Friday the 13th, which surprised me because I didn't think we were still so superstitious about that sort of thing. The question we're asking today, are you superstitious about the 13th? Would you actively not do something on that date? Or what other ways are you superstitious, Michelle?
I am actually quite superstitious. I don't know where that's come from, but I was joking the other day actually. I was saying, I don't walk in the cracks of the pavement. My heels get stuck in them, but I don't walk on those cracks in the pavement, and I won't walk under ladders either. I don't know why.
So those are the two.
Those are two that bother me. Friday the 13th in itself, I still work, I still do things, but I'm still in the back of my mind. But those two things I won't do is walk on cracks in the pavement and walk under a ladder. OK,
those two. What about you, Sue, would you say?
I mean, it's an actual condition, I think, isn't it? To be frightened of Friday the 13th. I think it's a medical condition.
I've got it written down.
It's a phobia in my notes. Or something, isn't it?
Trick or something or other, yeah.
Yes. But it's not something I think I'm particularly prone to. The only one I'm aware of that actually I have a passing thought is black cats. If a black cat crosses over in the road, I do momentarily think, that was good luck,
Oh, good luck or bad luck? I thought it was bad luck.
It's good luck for a black cat, yes. And that's the only one I've kind of recognised within myself as being, possibly working.
Okay, okay. Magpies, not bothered about that.
Is it 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy? And you see, I know that now because I said, too many magpies, I must be happy. Because, you know, it's 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for something.
Well, you're always supposed, if you see a magpie on its own, you're always supposed to say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how's the wife?
Oh,
I always say, how's the family?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Thank
Don't
you.
tell her all of these. The inner chimp is making a note of these, so
I
now
should
you're
be
going to have
walking around in nature now.
So
speaking
that's
to
one I
things.
do. I think I do touch wood in case you sort of where you say something, you don't want to jinx it. Would you touch wood? I don't tell you.
So there's very rarely anything wooden within reach these days.
MDF plastic now, isn't it? You know.
Well, most people tap their head, don't they? They go, oh, touch wood, and tap their head as if they got a wooden head. Yeah.
I was surprised with the dentist though, because I mean, if you go on the 13th, I can imagine if things are sort of in the hands of fate. But I mean, your teeth are your teeth, aren't they? It's not like you're suddenly going to turn around and get good or bad teeth because it's the 13th.
But something
Or
might
if maybe
happen,
it's
the
going to be a
drill
zombie.
might slip.
Oh,
Or something like that, you know. So if you are superstitious,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can
good
understand why
point.
people won't do it.
Good
Yeah,
point.
you would avoid potentially dangerous situations
Yes.
if you're truly suspicious. So,
Yes.
yeah, that would...
Wise words.
Like sitting in the Bahamas with your handbag on the beach.
Exactly, melting. And since I lived in Russia, I've picked up a lot of Russian ones. They're very, 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 very superstitious Russians. And
Are they really?
Yeah, incredibly superstitious. And if you forget something, which I do a lot of, I've always got to look in a mirror before I go again. I've got no idea why.
So
Just
if you
one of those
pass
things.
somebody on the staircase, because that's another one over here, isn't it? You're not supposed to
I think
pass...
I probably would sort of avoid it a little bit. I'm just, I think, I'm just a peasant at heart. I just believe in all
You
these
can't
things.
pass people on staircase.
No,
Well,
don't
one of you's
look.
supposed to stop.
Sue, stop, the inner chimp.
Yes.
She's
Just
panicking again
More
now.
things to think about.
I'll talk to you on the way home, Michelle.
you.
Don't panic.
Ladies, thank you so much for your company. Great
Thank
to
you.
see you. Thanks
Pleasure.
for coming in. Thank you so much for your company, for listening. Have a wonderful week. And thanks also for Georgie, all the wonderful work she does behind the scenes. Look at her
Hi, Georgie.
brushing her hair. We will see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful week.